That room's getting big. It's getting big in there, guys. Give it a few more minutes. We're gonna get this going. Lots to talk about. Just sit back, let this room fill up a little bit more, give some time for the East Coast people to catch up, and we're gonna turn over and we're gonna get this going. I can't appreciate everybody following and liking this. I am so excited. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Cardone Race Corner. Coming at you live, doing it 100%. We're going to make it real. We're going to make it happen. We're going to do everything we can to make it real. What's going to be? Hopefully, I got this working out perfect. So I'm going to see we're going to go. Man, what a weekend. And it looks like it's a little bit laggy, so I'm going to try to get it working, but just bear with me. We're going to get this working out pretty good. So, anyways, this weekend, Naples Pro Watercross was stacked in Naples. Man, if you weren't there, if you weren't watching it, if you weren't checking it out, you were totally missing out on what was going on. There was a lot going on. There was the Pro Runabout Novice box stock was full. The Pro Runabout Pro Amateur box stock was a heavy hit field. There was a lot of people in that class. It was pretty impressive. We had some big names out there. We had the GOAT, the Mac, Chris McCluggage in there. We had the Eagle, Eric Francis. He was there. Baldwin, of course, all year round. He's been at all the Pro Watercross tour stops. And you can't beat Baldwin, man. He's one type of guy. He's exciting. He's livid. He's always got something going on with him. You know, Emilio Antasca, hometown favorite, coming in and representing, holding it down with the first year without his dad. You know, God bless that. We have to give one thought for that. But he came in there and he came out swinging. Man, there was a good excitement. But we got a lot, man. We got some people that are very interested in the show. We got a lot of people to give good feedback. There was a lot going on in Pro Watercross. A lot of people were shaking the hand, We had the Wilson 300 Strong auction. If you guys were tuned into my Facebook Live, it went off pretty good. Thanks to Jan and Ken Waddle, they reached their goal, $25,000. You couldn't beat that. I mean, whoever would have thought the PWC family would have made $25,000 in donations for the Wilson family. You guys have to give a good applause, man, because that's impressive. You know, there's nothing more exhilarating than having the fact that someone's going to come in there and be there for each other. You know, the PWC closed court, the PWC family in itself is a big family. And, you know, when it comes to on the line, you know, friends are off. You know, there's a little bit of respect, but racing's racing. We all know that. There's never a dull moment. There's, you know, it's always something going on. But off the course, off that band, you know, we're a family. We watch each other grow. We watch the kids grow. We watch everybody grow into what we want them to be. You know, we got the juniors out there growing up and trying to live in the shoes of us and follow the footsteps. You got Baldwin's kid out there. That kid's phenomenal. That kid's always full of energy and always talking and always got something going on. You know, it's a prime example. So when something happens to one of our family and one of our friends, you know, it's good to see that the PWC family is going to come together, you know, and that family is going to stick, because that's what makes all of us, you know, be who we are. You know, you're not going to find that type of camaraderie in some sports. And I've been in a lot of sports. You know, I never grew up doing much, but, you know, I've been in the street bike game, you know, been in the drag racing, we've been in some of the stock car racing. You know, it's nothing like the PWC closed course. So, you know, we got to give hats off to Jan, and we got to give hats off to Ken Waddle and everybody that participated in that auction, because there was a lot of nice stuff. You know, that X2 that Ninja Chamber one for $1,000 for Sam Neem. East Coast Watercross gave 2 season passes. It started off with one, and then they gave another one for how good it went off. So you got to give another one to give a good round of applause for Region 8 for stepping up. Them guys, you know, they came in with clutch action. And then the auctions of my live feed, you guys were tuning in and, you know, giving some bids. You know, Ryan Dolly coming in. You know, hats off to those guys. You know, so I can't come out, you know, comment on that enough. You know, the Wilson family is one of the best families out there. There's many of us out there too. So, you know, it's good to see that. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. We'll scratch that off. You know, we can't forget it. The PWC family Facebook page will still stay up after this. So if there's anything going on, you know, we'll know. You know, we're here for each other. So remember that. Tonight's show, you know, I got some good stuff. I'm hoping, you know, I got a little bit of list over here. You hear the papers? I got some stuff to talk about, you know, for the Pro Watercross this weekend. You know, there was some really good high moments, and there was a bunch of low moments. The 239 race boat, we all know about that. We're not going to talk about that in this show. We don't need to bore people with the Cardone curse. We're talking about the Cardone Race Corner. We're talking about the players out there in the field. You know, I'm going to have Kary come on here in a little bit. I'm going to shoot for about 7:30, maybe 7:15. We'll go into a break, and then I'll get them on the line. You know, bear with me. You know, if their phone breaks off, they're in a means of travel, and they got an 8-hour trip, so they got some stuff going on. But they got a huge announcement for the Jet Jam Racing that they want to talk about. I don't know if they're going to disclose it with me. You know, I might be the first one, and I might not. Hopefully, I can be the first one, and we can talk about that. And they're going to talk about the future also. So we'll get some insight on the Jet Jam Racing, and then you guys in the chat room can always. I got it situated now where I can see where you guys are commenting, and I'll try to work with you and try to talk about it. So if you got some good hot topics and you want me to bring it up, it helps me, because it helps me make the story go on a little bit better. You know, I don't have anyone in house. You know, my boy Gorgeous Borges, he had to go back to Jersey, so it's going to be a little bit hard. But there's a lot to talk about. There was some good stuff in Naples. You know, there was some, you know, a lot of people that you know, AJ had a moment to talk about, you know, after the race on Saturday. Some things that if anyone wanted to talk about and bring it up in the air. And I'm going to say one thing for sure, and I'll probably get a lot of slack from this, but I'm very disappointed in the fact that I hear a lot of griping all year long about this and about that and this and that and da-da-da-da, and then nobody shows up. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want change, you need to be a part of the change. You need to talk about the change to make the change. If you don't talk, silence doesn't make change. You know, it doesn't matter if someone's going to listen or not. If someone sees the fact that there's more than one person talking, then there's a change that needs to happen. If no one's going to talk, then nothing's going to change. So I'm very disappointed, and I don't want to hear the excuses. I don't want to hear, oh, well, the racing, and it dragged on until 7 o'clock, and this, and da-da-da-da-da-da. Then Zero. You have nothing to say the rest of the year. You know, because you had an opportunity to talk and you didn't show. There's no excuses for that. I was in wetsuit. I was wet, dripping. I was sitting there. You know, there was a couple other people that were sitting there talking. So, you know, the discussion that was talked about was some good stuff. And there's also some changes that Pro Watercross is going to do. AJ is going to bring about. So, you could have been there and could have done something. I seen one runabout guy there. And the runabout guys have a lot to talk about. Them guys always have something to say. You know, the sport class, always griping, always, oh, we want to be we want to be pros, we want to be seen, we want more attention. Where were you guys? Where were you? I'm just saying, if you guys don't make a show, then you can't do nothing. You know, this is the stuff that we talk about. This isn't politics. This is our sport. This is what we want to do, and this is how we want to grow. If we don't grow, and we can't make changes, we're talking about how we're still stuck in the 90s and the nostalgic times. Well, this is the time to make a change, and you guys didn't show. You know, we can email AJ, we can forward to him, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to make a stand, and you have to make it known that these are the things you want to do. You know, so in the end of the day, you guys didn't show, man. Like, seriously. Like, I saw some good names in there. There were some good people. You know, of course we have the skeleton there, man. They come 6 deep. They represent 6 deep alone. So, of course, the skeleton's going to have some stuff to say because they have juniors that want to move forward. You know what I'm saying? And the sport is based upon our juniors growing or new people to get into the sport. You know, one of the things that was a topic, and I don't think many people knew about this, is the fact that there was a rumor, and it was on the community, that they want to take 4 strokes out of the sport boats. Now, they said it was an unfair advantage. Well, how is a 4-stroke, just because, you know, I'm going to name drop, but Jules Hobson and Gary Hobson got a 4-stroke HX. We all know this. Freedom Racing out of Thailand has a 15F HX 4-stroke. They were the first ones that did the Turbo Spark in Havasu. Of course, they didn't run well, but they don't take it away from them. They're the ones that are going to build that and make it fast. Everybody's moving around. So why would we do that? It only cost Gary $7,000 that he could build you one. For $8 grand, he could build you a 15F 4-stroke HX ready to go. Eric Degler showed up with one, and he did pretty good for first time ever riding it, first time ever being on the boat. Now, we had some minor malfunctions with the dry line, but you can't take that away. So that discussion was brought up, and then guess what happens? A discussion gets talked about the sport all the way around. You know, a lot of us, you know, I'm not going to take away from people that have the money that want to build the baddest boats out there. Sam Neem's got prime example of it. He's got Hamilton Hall and Sam Neem behind it. Guy's been around racing for a long time. He's been doing it. He's been making it happen. He's the one doing it. But I know me, I'm not going to put it against him, but prime example, me, I'm poor man. I'm a poor man. I got a triple HX sitting here. But I can't run against a $50,000, $80,000 boat. I don't have the $10,000 for a mod hull, whether it's a Bullet, whether it's a Freedom hull, whether it's a, you know, Brian Kramer's new creation he's got going on, or a Hamilton hull. You know, I don't have that. So the sport is going to max out with the big dogs in there when you have the big pockets. So the theory was, why don't you take Sport Open and Sport GP? Open is run what you run, whatever hulls, as long as they follow the rules of looking like a manufactured boat. That's what you want to do. Or, and then when you have Sport GP, that is a stock hull with a triple, but no 4 strokes. You know what I'm saying? Just like you guys in the ski class, you have GP1 and GP2 and over across the seas. You got to have that. And prime example with the racing, we people want to see the technology that's moving forward. We want to see it grow. So if it's going to grow, we got to allow our wings to spread. You know, I'm going to give credit to Runabout GP. Now that was some racing. There were some fast boats. You have Gregory Costas, one of his boats. Claude Clayton was out there on his hull design. And that boat, whenever it shows up, it's fast. As long as it stays together, it's fast and it's exciting. You know, so the rule is, you know, why would we want to take away new technology when we can make it grow? You know, just like with this, you know, I have to give it to Clipper. He made a good point. The Ski GP. Let them open up that boost. Let them run. You know, let them boats go. You know what I'm saying? You want to race? Let's see him hit that. Let's see him hit that back stretch at 70 miles an hour. Hey, you want to race? It's racing. Nothing's going to kill the sport unless we kill the sport. And by that, what I'm saying is I got off a little topic, but we have to talk. And if we don't show up to these meetings and these opportunities that we have, where all you guys want to sit there and say, AJ doesn't want to listen, this doesn't want to listen, or Frazier don't want to listen, or whatever. You got to show up to the times and make these missions, because guess what? That man took the notes down, he listened, and he was very open to what he wanted to hear, because he wants his sport to grow. So you have to give it credit when it goes on. So I'm proud of that. You know, a lot of things got said. There's going to be a big changes. You know, there's going to be endurance racing that's going to be going on out there. Excuse me for looking now. I want to make sure I'm checking you guys' on your chat room, so I make sure I get some good back and forth. But there's going to be endurance racing. So we already have, you know, one of the things he discussed is he knows that the time crunch we have is a problem. You know, and he's going to address that. The starting of a race at, you know, 10 o'clock and then we're getting crammed, you know, that's hard. And all of us will sit there and say this one thing for sure. Nothing kills racing is when we're all lined up in that line and, excuse me, and we get told, all right, rush, guys, hang out for a minute. And then we're sitting there, and we don't know what's going on. It's frustrating. But if we work together, you know, he already said he wants to fix that. So that's going to get fixed. And that's one of the things he wants to make sure that we all know that that's going to be addressed. You know, so I can't beat a dead horse anymore. You know, a lot of things were said at that meeting. You know, the endurance race was going to be involved. It's going to be really good. Some of the stops got dropped. One stop got dropped, and maybe two more are going to get lifted. So that's, you know, that's the thing that we have to figure out. You know, so you got to stay tuned to it. You know, AJ is trying to do the best he can and give the best racing he can. And we have to remember this: we don't have any other tours going on. Remember that. Just take a thought of that. P1. We all been to P1. It's one of those moments, you know what I'm saying? We got Jet Jam Racing out there. They're coming, and they're building. And that's the stuff we're going to talk about with those people, too. So, you know, a lot of things could have been made out, and a lot of things could have been done. So, if you guys didn't make that meeting, I don't want to hear you guys complain. You know, I'm just me, nothing, but, you know, we all talk. We all do. You know, we all have our gripes. I have my gripes. You know, I can't stand certain things, you know what I'm saying? But I just want to race. And I know 100% of you guys want to race too. But if we don't do what we need to do, we're not going to race. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that we have to do to make our racing happen. We have to show up. Mikey Young's Region 7s, no, he doesn't do a racing because nobody showed up. And that's its own little dilemma. Sometimes we just have to brush off the shoulders and deal with what we got to deal and do what we do best. And that's race. Build our boats, race. Our sponsors want to see our boats. They want to see what we can do. Show up, make it happen. So, I'm going to take that topic, and we're done with it. Just remember what I said. So, you know, on top of the other stuff that we had going on over there, you know, Naples is probably, that Naples Sutton Park is probably one of the top-notch events. You know, I was surprised with the sport class. There wasn't that many people showing up. I just couldn't believe it. You know, we had 16, I think it was, maybe 17 boats. Last year we had qualifying. We had 24 sport boats. But that falls back on what I was talking about before about how there's just certain boats. Like, listen, when we go to Markham Park, and Lewis Malone and I were just talking about that. And Lewis Malone, if you guys don't know him, he's an old school racer, and his daughters are in it, his wife's in it. You know, he supports racing. He's all about it. And me and him were just talking. We can go to Markham Park, and there can be 24 boats there lined up. You don't have to be a professional racer. You don't have to have big name sponsors. You don't have to do any of that stuff. Just show up and support. You do it on the weekends. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. Enter novice class. And if you want to go to that, novice class had, I think, 7 or 8 boats on it. And it was a good battle. You know, you got to give it props to Riley O'Fairley for taking first, coming out of Region 8, east, you know, all the way upstate New York. Coming there, she had boat issues all year. Finally got it down to absolute performance. Jessica Repera at Naples, Robert Say helped it dine it in, and me and him made it work. And she went out there and battled with Jessica Malone. You know, we couldn't take away Kevin Benjamin or Derek Barbie because we all know Derek Barbie's boat is fast. That boat is fast. You can't, dude. Listen, that man, he's old, but he's gonna whoop your butt if you're sleeping. He went out there and he just ran him down. First moto. Waterline came off the head, so he had to pull off. Was able to get back out there and do it. You know, Kevin Benjamin's boat's fast. Kevin Benjamin, when he shows up to race, his boats are fast. So you know that's one of the things too. But you know, Jessica Malone and Riley O'Fairley, Kevin, excuse me, man, it's hard to say it. Battled. That was some great racing. You know, those two went at it. It was nothing more spectacular than watch that battle. So that was novice class. You know, so. There was some cool stuff about that. You know, there was some, there's some gray areas. There were some bad calls. There was this. There was that. but it settled itself out. You know, lessons learned. You know, there's certain things, you know, we all know we've all been racing for a while. We know what to go and what to do. So sometimes you just gotta take it, you know, just like how I take it sometimes, you know, like sometimes my boat shows up to race and sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it wants to win and sometimes it just wants to make a fool out of me. But hey, I'm smiling. That's what the sponsors want. They want to see you do your thing. So you had that, you know, we had a bunch of new people showing up too. You know, some guys, some of the locals showed up for the freestyle event, which was really cool. So, you know, there's some more stuff that we're going to talk about that. You know, I just want to touch base and, you know, get some things in the air and get you guys talking out there. Doug Wolf's talking out there. Build boats, let's see what he says. Build boats towards a set of classes rather than build classes to boats. Yes. And that was what I was talking about earlier. Sorry, I just started reading it, buddy. You know, Doug Wolf tuning in all the way on the East Coast. It's 4 o'clock over there. He's probably still working, but he's tuning into the Cardone Race Corner zone. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate it. And all you guys in the chat room checking out too. Like I said, say some stuff. Have no problem talking. I need you guys make this show. I can't talk and talk and talk. You guys can't sit here and look at me talk all day. You know, I look like a fool sometimes. But hey, if I can entertain you guys and make a fool of myself, hey, we're winning. So, you know, I don't have no problem with that. You know, Texas H2O, there's a couple things we want to talk about. We had Texas A2, Sean Compton was our flag guy. You know, nothing against Sean Compton, but we definitely missed Norm Yee. You know, I show up to the line, I look up, and I don't see Norm Yee. I'm so used to seeing Norm Yee in the tower, you know, that little grin he's got going, that black hair, and he's got the flag. But we saw Sean Compton up there. Great pace, great person up in there, great face. It was good to see him up there. That's another thing that we're going to talk about that's coming up. So I'm going to have them coming on because they got some big news. And then I'm going to drop one for you guys too while we're in the mix of it. A lot of you guys know the Hot Water Tour here in Florida. It's showing back up. So you got to get prepared for that. It's showing back up and it's teamed up with Texas H2O. And it's going to have a race. It's going to have a race early in the season. And you know, that's what we need to talk about. There's some new upcoming blood that's going to be showing up and doing its thing. And we need to make sure that we show up to these races because people want to race and we got to show up to it. You know, so there's a lot of things that we can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a few minutes. It's 7:22 right now. I told them I'd get at them at 7:30. You know, let me get this going and maybe I can get them on board. Bear with me for a few minutes. I'm going to go into a transition. We're going to talk about, I'm going to let the music play. I'm going to get the music going for you guys. I'm going to get Kary on board. I'm going to get Jet Jam Racing on the line. And we're going to drop some bombs. We're going to talk about some cool stuff. We're going to put them on the spot, questions, answers. They're going to question me. They're going to put me on the spot, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I want you guys to hit me up with some questions on there. You know, do what you got to do. So, transition. Mike's going to go out. I'm going to make a phone call. We're going to see what's going on, and we're going to make it happen. All right, guys? Bear with me. I got Kary Austin on the line. I'm going to unplug my music. We're going to plug it into the phone, and we're going to get this little thing going on. All right, guys? So give me a second. Let's get this going real quick. Miss Kary Austin, are you there?
I am. How are you?
I am very good. How are you today? Or tonight, or evening, whatever it works?
Excellent.
Well, I'm glad I got you.
I'm excellent. I'm just driving.
Where are you guys driving to? You there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay. So, anyways, I got you on the line. I got you on the show. I'm very thankful for you guys coming on my show. I know this is new and upcoming, but you know, it's like you've seen on there. You saw my last broadcast. It's very based around getting the attention out there that we need. And I want to talk about Jet Jam Racing and where you guys came from. Obviously, B-Rock is your son, correct?
Yep.
So what got you guys? What got you? And how long have you guys been in the racing and in the scene and around all around?
Well, we've been racing with Bill for years, and then Brock was just watching, and then just, you know, he was 10 and he jumped on a ski and he was fast, and it became a father-son thing. So we've been in and out of this for so long. I don't even want to tell you the number of years.
Well, we all know B-Rock is pretty dang fast out there. He never ceases to amaze us whenever he shows up. So I've gotten the pleasure of seeing him race quite a few times. And it's always good seeing you guys show up because I've seen you show up to a couple pro water races too. So it's always exciting to see you know, people all the way from the East Coast coming all the way to this coast. So let me ask you, you know, I've been watching the Jet Jam all year. You know, I've been very excited. I've been watching it. What you guys have been doing is very exciting. You guys have the live feeds very good. You got the drones. You know, your live feed isn't boring. It's got a lot going on. Kind of like what I got with my Facebook, you know, live feature I got going on. And what got you into the Jet Jam? What brought that about?
Actually, we had traveled a ton with Brock to China, Dubai, Thailand, and we loved every minute of it. But for 2 years, we didn't even have a minute that we were home. So we said, geez, it'd be great if there was more racing at home so we could kind of stay on the West Coast a little bit. So then we came back in and we went to the Pro Watercross Tour and we did everything that was on the West Coast. And it turned out to be a blast. We made so many new friends on the East Coast. That just got us wanting to do more. So then Jim Lambert from the Northern California area kind of had a little trouble, had some work issues, had family issues, and had to kind of quit doing what he was doing. And that's what we called our home base. That's where Brock had been racing, even though we're from Utah and had to drive 10 hours to every single regional race, you know. So all those guys called me and said they need a favor. I said, sure, whatever you need. Until they said, we need you to run a race series. And I said, never going to happen.
And in your mind, were you, when that mention came and you said never in a million years, was it just the part of the fear of taking over and failing, or was it just the chaos?
Well, no, it's just, I know it takes a village, and I wasn't sure I could get a village to help me, you know?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty
Jim
hectic.
had a lot of people, and I wasn't sure we could get even part of those people, you know? So we just started calling people, and they said, if you build it, we will come. And then the South Riders called and said, wait, you're leaving us out? I'm like, well, you guys have some racing going on, and they're like, we don't care. The more the merrier. I'm like, oh, alrighty then. So we just started calling a couple legs. We ran into some problems. It was a huge learning curve because what these guys put on now, any of these promoters, kudos to all of them because the amount of money and time and the paperwork is horrendous.
And that's enough, you know, just what you nailed that right on the mark because a lot of people don't realize how much it is. You know, just like I was talking earlier show, I don't know if you were hearing it, but you know, there was time delays with our racing. A lot of things were causing, you know, furries with time and stuff like that. But you know, there's a lot of backdoor stuff because I happen to work, you know, as a course marshal for when Brent Vanderlee and Brad Clark had the tour over here, Region 7 for a couple of years. And a lot of people don't realize it's a lot of work. And then if you're short-handed or money's tight, you have to be short-handed. It makes it a lot of work. And you know, when you got a well-oiled machine, it makes it look easy, but that's only because the guys are really just making it happen behind the scenes.
They call our guys the Red Shirt Crew because they really rock it. we put on a race not last year but the year before at Lake Ming, and their boaters association came to watch it.
Really?
And the next year when we didn't come back, they called the city and said, get them back. That was legit. So we just signed them again for next year, or for 2019.
And I just saw where you guys posted. You have your first race, and remind me again, where was the first race for 2019 going to be?
The Nautical Resort. They haven't had a race there since 1993.
Wow, that's going to be
Yep.
going to be pretty exciting.
It's huge, and they're giving us 2 races. So we're going to give you the first word on that. The first one is March 30th and 31st, and the second one is 2 weekends later, April 13th and 14th.
Wow, that's going to be awesome.
Yep.
And what kind of, are you guys going to, I know your courses have been really awesome all year. Have you guys, in any collapse of anything new or anything changed in the designs by any chance of the courses?
Actually, they'll have 2 different courses there, and then our next race in Havasu, we're still working on the place, will be a new side-by-side slalom that everybody has been asking for.
Really?
They do it in Europe, and we're going to do it there and also in the north. We'll have one in each place.
Awesome, dude. So, like I've said before, I've talked about this all the time. Doug Wolf has always been in my ear. Me and him have talked back and forth, and I love watching. I try to tune into your guys' live feeds as much as possible, and I joined your guys' Facebook page and stuff like that. So I'm one of those guys. I love racing. A lot of people watch me rate. I travel all over the place, and it's not because I have the money to do it. It's just I have the invites, and people make it happen. And
right.
One of the things that I've been really interested in, and Doug Wolf he's about made it happen for me, that I'm going to join one of those Jet Jam races, one of those rounds. You're going to see Cardone in his bright, flashy attire. He's going to be sitting on a sideline. You're going to go, wait a minute, is that a Florida boy over here? Because
is he vlogging? Is he vlogging for us? Yes.
Yes, he is. He is always talking. He puts JetJam.com on everything he can. If he's in a chat room, it's Jet Jam Racing. You know what I'm saying? So it's exciting.
That's awesome.
It's very exciting because that helps the sport. People want to. And listen.
Oh yeah.
I haven't even been there. I just watch what I watch, and the turnout is always spectacular. The first couple live feeds, you guys had a little hiccups, but you guys. Bam, you hammered them out, got them out of the way, and it was just like, everything was just so smooth. I don't think I've ever seen any problems. I've never seen a line short or small. It's usually been very packed and, full. It's, it's not saying extraordinary, but it's been full.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's funny because we've had our share of growing pains, but at the end of the day, the crew rocks it, because if one little thing goes wrong, we have a backup plan, or, but with them doing all that and more riders coming, I'm telling you, we have had so many riders call us from all over that we are having more races. We'll have hopefully 2 races in Florida.
Right.
We hope to have that tied up by the end of the week.
Hold on.
And then we'll have...
Wait, repeat that. You just said you had 2 races in Florida you got going on over here?
Yes.
Whoa.
Daytona Beach is already dialed in.
Oh, wait.
We have 5 different beaches.
Daytona Beach. Jet Jam Racing is going to come to Daytona Beach. Did you guys hear that first on Cardone Race Corner? Daytona. I haven't heard about this. And listen, I hear all kinds of good stuff. You just hit me with a Daytona race. I am, whoa.
Yeah, and then we're working with 5 other cities, because when we went to all the cities and started talking to them, they started looking up our live feed, and they saw all the videos that were done by Steve and West Coast Media.
Right.
And they want a piece of that. So we said, well, you want a video? You have to bring us to your city.
Man.
And we'll hand you the video.
And you probably heard me talk. I know you don't have too much time to always tune into my stuff, because I always got a million things going on, but I always tell everybody, I always say this. It's promotion. You can't do enough promotion. But if you put yourself out there, it doesn't matter if it's a stupid 20-second clip of a video. You'd be surprised how much attention that gets. A lot of people give me crap because I go live about certain things, or I take all my GoPro footage of all the race, I make these nice videos, I post them on YouTube. People don't understand, how that works. The sponsors I have now are happy because they get to see that, because there's a lot of racers out there that don't take the time to put that little bit out there. So Jet Jam Racing doing what they did just locked in some great deals because of just what you wanted to do. Showcase your race.
Well, this social media push with Steve and Nicole. I mean, my crew is killing it, but I don't have time to do that.
No.
You know, I'm trying to talk to cities and do all the paperwork, but we've refined the best crew ever for 2019. Matt Goad has taken over the rules and the technical side, so our rule book will be finished by Friday as well, and it'll be posted, and it's huge.
Okay.
It's awesome.
All right. So
You get to see that, and we're going to the whole next level because we've had so many people from other series call and say, "Can you help me?"
Right.
That we are opening our sanctioning body. So.
Wait a minute. So you are becoming your own sanctioning body?
Yes, and it's not Jet Jam. We started American Water Sports Association 2 years ago.
Really?
We just didn't do anything with it.
Right.
But now we've had enough people ask us to help them that we've opened it up. So that will open up probably by the end of the week as well. And we'll have membership cards, T-shirts, and stickers to hand out to everybody that's a member.
Wow, that is. I'm gonna tell you, Kary, that is phenomenal, dude. Nothing that has like made the sport, you know, in its own little world. You guys start off with something so simple, and it just became more and more and more. And that's just the hard work you guys put in, you know, like. And with that own sanctioned body, I mean, are you guys? That's what's gonna give you the ability to travel around what you want to do, and it also helps little regions grow back again.
Yeah, and that's what will get us across country, get the insurance cheaper for everybody, and bring more riders. And then in 2020, we're already signing up cities right now for 2020, and we've been asked to do a national tour. So I don't even know. I don't even know how it's gonna turn out.
A national tour. Now I was just
I just need riders.
Now I was just talking about how we only have one national tour if you think about it, and we're not going to take it away from pro watercross. They guys do a phenomenal job, but
no, you're doing great.
Imagine another national tour out there that's going out and above and beyond. I mean, you're all the way out in the East Coast, and you guys are going to come all the way down over here. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy. So. The West Coast, I'm sorry, coming all the way over here to the East Coast. That is, that really gets right. And then so, obviously there's going to be some other things that need to be worked out, obviously membership cards and stuff like that. And obviously that'll be your membership card will be your own tour in your guys' races. That includes the region races also for your area, correct?
Yep. And then we hope to start dialing in the regionals that are out there wondering what they should do. And we had a lot of calls from people who just fizzled.
Yes.
And we're like, no, bring it back. Do not fizzle out.
And it's hard for some of these regions because, just like I talked about at the beginning of the show, you got to show up to make this. You got to show up for races to happen. If you don't show up, and a lot of it is just like you just said here a minute ago. People don't understand how much work it takes just one person that has to meet and greet and shake hands all day, every day.
Yep.
If you have a day job or a family, you can't do this and have a day job. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to either. Not have a day job and be able to shake the hands because you have to meet cities. You have to meet the people that are in charge. You have to meet and greet, email back and forth, phone call conferences, in meeting persons, fly over. You got to do all that stuff to make it happen. And then when you do make it happen and then people don't show up, it's like, well, what's the point of me doing this?
Exactly. So we hope to help with that as well because we found some cities that have some money. They'd like to see the show again. With the new slalom, side-by-side slalom, that should be able to bring people that can't ride 6 laps, like any of the older riders that say, you know what, I can't do 6 laps. Right. Bring it back to slalom because they can win that all day long. Right. And we've got some sponsors that are putting up money for it, too. So that'll be just a new trial thing. If it works, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But then we've got a lot of freestyle guys coming back, so that's pretty exciting. Well,
and then I've noticed with your tour, Doug Wolf threw it out there, and I think I don't know who it was. I'm trying to make sure my stuff stays streamed, but the 550 class is one of your biggest classes too. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Man, them West Coast boys just can't give it up, can they? They just love those ancient dinosaurs, don't they?
Well, what's funny is we have half of them that came back, and the other half of the 550s is the young guys that were riding motorcycles and got sick of getting hurt, and they don't have a ton of money, so they went and bought 550s and jumped on the line. We have a group of 10 friends that get out there that are a blast.
Dude, that's phenomenal. A lot of people make fun of it because if you guys haven't seen, talking to the viewers out there, if you haven't seen a 550 race, it's like watching a rabbit and a turtle sometimes. The rabbit's falling and the turtle beats it, and then the rabbit gets back up and starts catching him and he falls again, and the turtle still keeps winning. That's kind of what a 550 race is like. But it's exciting because if you've never rode a 550, you don't know how hard it is to ride one of those things because it's
so hard.
Dude, I started on a 650 Cowie stand up in a 750. That's what I started. I used to ride that thing till it would burn up because I'd ride it so much. So I understand the 550 is hard. And then you got to give it to Robin Haas, and you guys know this. He's got the conversions where they're putting the 701s in there. I've never even gotten to roll one of those, but I imagine what a little 550 with a little bit more oomph can do.
Well, what's funny is we had to make another class for that. The 650 and 750 and under. We had to make it its own class because we had so many 550s. They needed their own class.
Now, do you guys have a super chicken race too? Because we know the East Coast watercross
we
has.
Do.
And is that a big lineup too?
No, I think it will be, but most people didn't even know about them. So there's a couple guys up in the north that have been trying to make that a bigger deal. So when we go up to the NorCal, that'll happen.
So if you guys, as a promoter in your region and that stuff like that, what is one of the classes you see being a very sustainable? Let's take the 550 out because we already know they line up. What would be the next class you guys see always showing up and always doing work?
It's probably the X2s and then our GP2, what we call it, our GP2 class.
Okay, and what is your GP2 class? What is that?
Well, we're changing it up, so we'll put out a thing to show what that is, but it's just fast skis, but you don't have to be a pro rider.
Okay. I got you.
And then we have our 800 stock class that is getting to be huge because that's another class that people are coming back to.
Right.
If they had an old 800 sitting in the garage, jump in. You don't have to buy a thing.
Well, it's like what was it? Wasn't it called the 800 limited class? That used to be the big name class where you could either have an 800 modified all the way out, or you could have a stock 1100 in an SXR. That class was that was a really good, exciting class, and it just seemed like it just disappeared. I never really understood what happened with that.
Yep. So that's coming back too. So when we announce all this, we'll get Matt on your show because he can explain every class and bring what ski and fill up the line. That's the whole point. We're only going to have 20 classes.
Right. Well, in 20 classes, it may seem like a lot, but it's really not because you have riders entering multiple races, and it can be exhausting. That's one of the things, and you probably heard this because you're a racer too. You probably know this. It's one of the things that hurts a tour or a race is when there's too many races and not enough entries. It's like, why do we have 18 motos?
Yep.
It's just when there's 18 motos and we see 2 boats showing up, it's just like, why did they put that class there? But
it's so boring, and then it makes people not want to ride, and it certainly doesn't bring back new people.
No, because the new people are sitting there going, well, is this how everything runs? This is boring. I can go home and watch TV and drink a beer.
Exactly.
Well, that's pretty exciting. You guys have really bled out a bunch of stuff, and I appreciate you guys coming on the show and talking about it. I'm still flabbergasted about the Daytona ride. You know how many of us have been talking about bringing back a Daytona race? Daytona is like the spot. We go there for the Daytona free ride because that's exciting, but there's no racing. But it's good to see the Mark Gomez and a lot of them big name guys come out there and show us the air and air out those skis. So Aqua X was there one year, for a couple of years, and they just disappeared for some reason, but. That's going to be phenomenal. I guarantee you, I promise you, if you guys came here, it's going to be a stacked full line. It's going to be one of those crazy, it's going to be a crazy weekend.
Well, we already have the West Coast guys. Apparently they've already loaded 4 trailers, and they're coming too, so.
I can't wait. Well, Kary, if you guys have any questions for me or anything you guys want to talk about, I would be more than happy to answer. But I think you guys have answered a ton of questions for me, and a lot of my viewers and listeners are probably saying the same thing, going, "Wow!" So I'm thankful. I really appreciate it.
Great, keep it going, bud, because this is the way we get everybody to know what's going on and to get them to race.
Yes, ma'am.
Watch for the announcements too, Kary, for this.
Oh yeah, watch for all the rest of our announcements on Jet Jam. We have our new website will be coming up this week. The new rules will be up this week. The schedule. It's going to be a crazy week.
Well, please feel free to make sure you tag me in that so that I can forward it. I might, obviously I see a lot of the Jet Jam posts, but just please tag me in it, and I'll be sure to take it and spread the word. I'll keep it on this profile too, and I'll bring it up again in another hot topic in one of the next episodes. So keep up the good work,
Great,
Kary. I can't wait to watch how this is going to grow. This is like super exciting. Like a lot of racers are probably excited too, because I know a lot of people here in Florida have been watching Jet Jam racing, and I talk about it all the time, enough to where people get sick of it. They're like, why don't you just move over there and race that class? I'm like, I just might. Hey, listen.
I'll bring it to you.
I'm a Florida boy, though. I love my sunshine. I love my crazy weather, so I really can't deny it. Well, Kary,
we'll bring a race to you.
And you guess what? The 239 race boat will be there, whether it's broken or running. It's gonna be there. I promise you that. Well,
thanks, Bobby.
Thank you so much for coming on my show. I really appreciate it. I hope you had a blast. I hope it was great for you guys, and I look forward to talking to you again.
It was great. Keep it up.
Thank you. Well, you guys heard it first. That was pretty impressive. That was a lot of information that wasn't expected to be let out. What can we say about Jet Jam racing coming all the way to this coast? I mean, there's really nothing more we can say about that. That's impressive. See, now that's the stuff we were talking about. They were talking about where if people show up, they'll race. Like you just heard her explain how they said, hey, you want to do it? She's like, no way. And then everybody teamed up to make that work. That in itself is impressive, because that's how you make it grow. You see what I'm saying? They took the social media. She had some people teamed up. They made it happen, and that's where it started growing. That right there itself is made. They have their own sanctioning body. Think about that. They have their own sanctioning body. They're going to do their own tour. They're coming all the way from the West Coast, and they're going to bring it to Daytona, Florida. A lot of us love Daytona. Daytona is one of the funnest places to race, and I cannot believe that they're going to be coming here. That is impressive. You heard it once. You heard it here for the first time on Cardone's Race Corner. That's impressive. I'm going to go into a break real quick. I got to get a drink. I'm parched over here thinking about this. So guys in the chat room, hit me up with some questions. I'm going to talk about a couple other things. We got to announce a couple of the winners of the Pro Watercross Naples Championship. Talk about some exciting things that portray into the races. A lot of you guys watched my Facebook Live, and that Sport GP race, wow. That Sport GP was insane, bro. I cannot wait to talk about a couple things about the Sport GP. So, I'm going to go into a break real quick. I'm going to do some things real quick, get them things going around. We're going to do what we got to do. I'm going to come back, and we're going to talk about some cool stuff. So, listen to that music, and I'll be right back.
Triumphant return of the Sarasota Medieval Fair in the Ringling Woods behind the Sarasota Fairgrounds. Get mid.
Welcome back, guys. Woo! If you guys missed that segment of the Jet Jam racing, you guys missed out some really cool, interesting stuff. That was, I wasn't expecting any of that information to come through, and that was, I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty impressive. So I'm excited. Doug Wolf, I'm always gonna shout out to you. You bring it into the picture. You make it happen. I appreciate everything you guys are doing in the chat room. A lot of people are watching. A lot of people are sharing and liking. I see some angry faces in there. I would like to know why you are hitting the angry button. So please enlighten me on why you're angry on this. So let's talk about Naples. What happened and what was going on? I got it here on the screen. Boom, right there. You see it? Live stream it. So the Sport GP class. I'm gonna go right into the guts. I'm gonna get right into that business. Richard Taylor is your #1 Naples championship winner. He's holding the title. That man come out with an HX Frankenstein boat, and he came out there, and that boat was screaming. That thing was built together and thrown together in just a couple weeks. It been in the works for about 2-3 years, I think he was saying. But then they finally said, "We're done. Let's make it happen." They put it together, and they caused a bunch of stuff. They built that boat super fast. It was only the second time they rode it. They came out there, they showed, and that boat just gave Sam Neem a run for the money. And Sam is a true champ. He'll tell you all the time. He goes, Bobby, I just got beat by a boat. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. But he ran for it. I watched Richard Taylor at one point lap all the way up to 5th place. 5th place. And we're not talking about some granny riders. We're not talking about some weekend riders just dilly-dallying out there. We're talking about some tight riders. We're talking about, I think it was 13 of the top riders out there. We even had a new racer, Jessica Malone, going out there. Now, we got to give this girl huge credit. She jumped into a line full of dogs, like angry pack of wolves. Like, if you've never raced in a sport GP with some of these top-notch riders, you don't know what you're getting into. And it's chaos. I've been in it. And it's just, it's a lot. It's a lot going on. So, if you see Jessica Malone or your friends are on Facebook, please be sure to go on her Facebook page and say congrats on a well-rode first-time sport GP out there. Lewis built her a nice sport GP blaster, and she went out there and she just did her own thing. She rode. And you got Christine Malone on her HX, going out there riding her ride. But you have to say that
check. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Check.
Sam
1 2 1
Richard
2.
Taylor, Jewel Hopkins, Mike Osborne, the Hayes brothers. Hayes brothers showing up on a hurricane, triple pipe hurricane. Come on, man. It's a hurricane. As I always tell them, it's a cheater boat. It doesn't belong in there, but it is. It's a sport boat. I can bust her chops all I want because those are my friends and I'm going to do it. But
AJ said that.
That's just one of them. And then you had Landis, Christopher Landis showing up on his blaster triple, coming out there in Sport GP. First time. He hasn't got very little run time on that boat, and he's been on the Aqua X, so he really had much time to practice. His dad, Mark Landis, built a phenomenal boat for him. That thing came out, and he hung out there for a while too. So there were some good names out there. So it went. What was it? It goes Richard Taylor first. It was Sam Neem second. Jules Hopkins, he stuck it in there with that HX, and he just kept digging and digging and digging. He got 3rd overall. 3 names. Mike Osborne's first moto went out there and he hole shot. It was a phenomenal run. That man has been fighting to stay on that boat all year long, and these last couple times I've seen him ride, if you're friends with Mike Osborne also, you need to go on his Facebook page and give him a huge thought. So you got to just give him a credit and make it happen. Hold on, let me say, I got some stuff going. So a lot of those things that were going on, I'm off beat right now. A lot of those things that we have going on is the Sport GP class is pretty phenomenal. It's got a lot going on, and there's other things that you can do with it. If you got a boat and you can build it, that's the stuff that you have to do. Like you got to show up and do the things you need to do. Those are the cool things that you can make happen and stuff like that. It doesn't matter if you have a $50,000 boat or you have a just a weekend warrior boat. If you show up and race, that's what's going to go. Just like Jules Hopkins' boat. They had it going to where that boat, they built something and they didn't expect it to actually do something, and they did it. They made it happen. So that boat's pretty phenomenal. If you haven't seen that boat in person, they shoved a big 15F in there and they made it work. They put some time into it, they made it work. That boat's phenomenal, and it only is going to grow. Like Mike Osborne's got a sweet Tim Judge built motor, and that boat, everybody says, oh, he just doesn't hang on or he swims or this or that. That boat rips. That boat is nasty fast. And then if we go back to Richard Taylor, I'm not going to spill the guts too much, but that's, that HX, the way he designed it, it's XPL bottom with some other stuff. It's just not just an XPL bottom, but it is legal for the class. It is legal to race. And, they took a 951, his motor that he's had in his HX for the last couple of years racing, and he made it happen. It just went out there and built it, and it screamed. We all know Sam's boat's fast. That boat's always fast. Then you had Keith Thill out there. He's fast too, consistent rider. You know, the two battles I have to give credit was Tommy Skellett and Keith Thill. Those two were battling. They had some great time. They came into the turners too wide, and Tommy would just shove Keith Thill out of the picture. It was phenomenal. You had to be there. If you weren't there in Naples, you suck. I'm sorry, you just suck. And if it's a long drive, it sucks even more because I've done the long drive. Should have watched my Facebook Live because it was crazy. So we'll go to something else. We'll talk about the Pro-Am box stock runabout class. And you know, like I said before, we had Marino and Anatosca. We had the GOAT, Chris McCluggage. We had the Eagle, Eric Francis, Dukowski, Jim Bennett, Michael Osborne, you know, or Dylan Osborne, not Michael Osborne, oh, my bad. Dylan Osborne out there. You know, there was some cool stuff out there. And, you know, at one point, you had Brian Baldwin out there. At one point, you had Anatosca out there, and Eric Francis on Moto 1 got around him and got first. And then, you know, McCluggage was right there. So it was going to be an Eric Francis win. And obviously, you know, he had some malfunctions in Moto 2. He dropped the valve. No more, no good. And then McCluggage, he had an issue. I don't know. I never got a chance to talk to him, find out what happened to his boat, and his boat went out. So then it was just left to the Baldwin and Anatosca. You know, and Baldwin, he can ride. Jim Bennett was in there doing the mix too. There was all kinds of great racing. So, you know, Arminio went in there and took it. So he got it. You know, you got to give him credit. Going into this first race without his father, you know, there had to be a lot of emotions, a lot of things going on, you know. There was a lot of things that probably were going through his mind, but his dad wouldn't be more prouder than watching him go out there and do what he loved doing, and that's just racing and winning. Whether he won or he lost, he did what he's enjoyed, and he did it without his dad this time, so his dad was looking down and smiling like he couldn't believe. You know, then you go to the sport class. You know, the sport class, you know, that was intense too. Not as many boats as we thought was going to happen. That was pretty impressive that there wasn't that many boats. I think I read 16, I think it was. Not a full lineup. And, you know, with that being said, there should have been a lot more boats. There should have been a lot more boats in that than what was. And unfortunately, you know, who was it? We had Christian Daly show up. You know, we had myself, Robert Saya. We had the Hayes brother out there. The Skeletons out there. A lot of good names. But we already know who won. At number 5, Christian Daly. Went out there and put a whooping on all of us. So you got to give him great credit. If you guys have been watching him, he won in Sports Spec in Havasu. He came to Naples and won here. And that kid can ride, man. That kid's got a boat that's phenomenally fast. There's nothing to it. It's fast. He doesn't let go, and he runs out. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it's going to be. And Dave Zier says, should 4 strokes be allowed in the sport, GP? Well, I already discussed that earlier. I believe they should be, because we have new technology and we're evolving. We're not back in the old days anymore. Now, should we change classes where there's a GP1, GP2? Possibly, because then we should open the door for new people to get in that race. Stock hauls with some triples in there, and then go into GP2 where it's run what you brung. You know, obviously limited CCs and limited, you know, if there's turbos or this or that, because we have turbo 4 strokes, and then if we have turbo 4 strokes, why can't we have a 4-stroke naturally aspirated motor? You know, I've already talked about that. You know, that's a discussion that we can always talk about. You know, heat up the chat room. What other classes was pretty big? You know, we already talked about the novice sport, and then we had novice box stock. We had Jimmy Roberts coming in there and pulling off a second. Myself pulling in a 4th. You know, first time ever racing a runabout. I was pretty impressed. You know, Borges Towing let me go out there and make it happen. And you know, we all saw the video. You know, lanyard pulled on a hole shot. I had that left, but that was a rookie move. And then, you know, hey, lessons learned. I'm a sport rider, but I went on a runabout. I did great. You know, I ended up catching back a 3rd on that first moto. I had a kickoff because me and Jimmy Roberts were battling, and I got around him because he missed a buoy, or he didn't miss a buoy. Kind of went wide. I dug it in on him and got around him, and I was stoked to get around him because that was a 3rd. And then I went around this buoy, and then I went for a swim. So I ended up getting back in the boat. I got a 6th for that moto, and then a 4th in the next moto. So give a round of applause for Jimmy Roberts. You know, came in there with a Dean Team's boat. Baldwin let him borrow some boats, so they came in there and did a kick butt time. So that's impressive. You can't beat that. So the runabout box stock is a cool class. It's a lot of heated emotions. There's a lot of things going on, and then when you get in a Pro-Am box stock, it's really exciting because anything can happen. You know, a lot of emotions are on that line. You know, a lot of emotions. There's a lot of emotions coming there. There's a lot of people that have some issues. And, you know, and then you know, that's what creates exciting racing. You know, that's the stuff that makes it happen. You know, there's this, you know, runabout class is one of those things that it's either going to be big or it's going to be small. But end of the day, you guys, you know, I've talked a lot. I'm kind of like hitting some blanks, you know, because a lot of people are talking to me, got some stuff going on. Well, I'm going to cut this short. It's been an hour. I want to give you guys a thank. That was my hour I wanted to do. A lot of you were stayed in the chat room, watched the whole thing. I appreciate it. Next week, I might cut it down to every 2 weeks doing a live broadcast because we're going into the winter times. So I don't want to bore you with this nonsense. So I want to keep this strong. I want to make sure it grows. So I might just go into every 2 weeks. You guys make sure you hit the notifications on the Facebook Live. Make sure you let yourself know that when I go live, it's gonna be broadcasted, and you go from there. So I appreciate you guys liking. I appreciate you guys following. I always am happy to have any input you guys give to make this better. I'm excited to have what's going on, and you know, I can't thank Jet Jam Racing, Kary Awesome for coming on my show. You know, really drop some exciting stuff. You guys gotta be prepared because that's gonna be a big, epic thing that's gonna be happening. Again, Daytona, baby. They're coming to Daytona. Be prepared, guys. Anyways, your boy Cardone is out. Cardone Race Corner is coming at you in your face, in your ears, in the web. We're circling around. We're doing some fun. Brad Graphics, Eric Bradford is making this page happen. Always coming at you with great effects. Yeah, I'm still learning. I had the audio going on with the YouTube. Now it's paused. Give me a break, all right? I'm a one-man crew by myself. I know I was lagging a little bit with the words. I'm going to work on it. Just give me a break. I'm doing it. Bust my chops. Talk some smack. Dave's here. I appreciate what you did. I wasn't trying to bust your chops. I was just letting you know we already talked about it. You guys can always rewind this and listen to it all over again and talk some smack. Anyways, your boy's here. I appreciate you guys. I really do. Thanks for the support. Thanks for making this show. It's going to keep going. I got some names after this weekend. You know, we got Eric Lagopoulos, we got Russo, we got Troy Snyder. Troy Snyder said he wants to be on the show. Let that sink in for a moment. That's going to be exciting because I would love to hear what Troy Snyder has to say. Even though he's going to give me a hard time, even though he's going to talk some smack to me, even though he's going to smack me around probably on the phone, hey, it don't matter. It's Troy Snyder. Love or hate him, it's Troy Snyder. It's great. So that's one of the names we had. We had a lot of people that want to be on the show. You know, I'm probably getting the next episode. I think I'm going to get Sam Neem on the show. McCluggage said he wanted to be on the show. The Eagle, Francis, wants to be on the show. We're going to make this big. I might even get David Cabrera into the show. Let's get him in the show, too. Can't beat David Cabrera. Maybe we get Glenn Young on the show. Anybody and everybody that wants to talk, that wants to come on here and bust some chops and say some good stuff, I want them to be on here because this is what's going to make closed course racing going. So, again, thanks for coming on my show. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to let the music drop for a little bit. I'm out of here, guys. I appreciate it. Much love. Tune in next time.